Good happy Monday evening, April 4, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Monday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, Keene man sentenced to prison for role in Capitol riot. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Qué buena casa de verbo. Vamos.
Now I'm here, now you're here, and long as I am right. These pictures show Jason Riddle at the Capitol the day of the riot, January 6, 2021. There are also pictures of him holding a bottle of wine taken from the Senate parliamentarian's office and a book that in their filing, the defense admits he stole. Riddle also admits that he was part of the mob that stormed the Capitol, but the defense says that he was not urging others to act and remained a passive observer, something the U.S. Attorney's Office disputes. Riddle is pleading guilty to one count of theft of government property and one count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. The U.S. Attorney's Office is asking that Riddle be sentenced to 90 days, along with probation, community service, and $754 in restitution. Riddle's participation in the riot that succeeded in halting the congressional certifications, combined with his theft of government property, his lack of remorse, and his attempt to benefit from his involvement in the riot, renders a sentence of incarceration both necessary and appropriate. The defense agrees with the community service and restitution, but is asking that Riddle be sentenced to 30 months probation, calling that sufficient but not greater than necessary, noting that Riddle has addressed long-standing issues with alcohol and has remained employed since his arrest.
The defense also noted that Riddle is a veteran, adding that the court has sentenced defendants convicted in similar cases to probation. But the prosecution calls Riddle's actions more serious, going on to say general deterrence weighs in favor of incarceration. Again, sentencing set for Monday. In the studio, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Father of Harmony Montgomery accused of stealing rifle, shotgun in fall of 2019. Adam Montgomery faces 8 charges connection to alleged thefts. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We're always looking for quality training and certification that fits the budget and frees up our calendar.
Breaking news, the father of a missing Manchester girl now faces unrelated charges of stealing guns. Investigators say Adam Montgomery stole a rifle and a shotgun in the fall of 2019. In addition to the theft, he's also charged with being a felon in possession. The 8 charges against Montgomery could each bring 10 years in state prison. Prosecutors say there is no evidence that the stolen firearms are linked to the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery. Police are still looking for the little girl who has not been seen since 2019.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Postcards spreading baseless conspiracy theory mailed into New Hampshire homes. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We always believed the welcoming spirit was a small town thing. Turns out...
Bizarre postcard has been showing up in mailboxes across New Hampshire and Massachusetts. It references prior disasters, the pandemic, war in Ukraine, and says the end of the world is upon us. It's all part of the baseless conspiracy theory known as QAnon.
No name,
no signature. You don't know who he is.
The mailer has a return address of a P.O. box in Portsmouth. On the other side, pictures of celebrities and politicians, and a QR code that leads to a lengthy document. Tony Duquette got one on Saturday.
And he made no sense. He made no sense. I mean, it was broken English. It was like, I stopped reading about halfway through and stopped.
The QAnon movement spreads misinformation, including the belief that the world is being controlled by devil-worshipping pedophiles who will be brought to justice by former President Trump.
I think fear is very important for understanding these movements.
Randall Ballmer is an expert in American religious studies at Dartmouth College. He calls the mailer nonsense and says QAnon followers want to spread their conspiracies.
Those who are trying to interpret these apocalyptic prophecies also are building on fear and trying to motivate individuals to behave in certain ways or to align themselves with certain beliefs in order to forestall the end of the world or whatever they think is the coming apocalypse.
Tonight, we are hearing from the U.S. Postal Service, which says, while certainly controversial, there doesn't appear to be anything in the mailing that would make it illegal to send through the mail. And the U.S. Postal Service does say that these mailers were widespread in their distribution. Reporting live tonight, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire COVID-19 updates. Numbers for vaccination, cases, and variants. Here's a look at the New Hampshire COVID-19 data. Number of people diagnosed with COVID-19, 303,010. 7-day total test positivity rate, PCR and antigen, 2.7%. 7-day average number of daily tests, 4,165. Number of deaths attributed to COVID-19, 2,452. Number of active cases, 1,033. Number of patients who have recovered, 299, 525. And number of current hospitalizations and patients who are COVID-19 positive, 27. Number of current hospitalized patients being tested for COVID-19, 4. Percentage fully vaccinated, 61.3% of New Hampshire population. Collective number of MIS-C cases, 1 to 49. And New Hampshire hospitalization breakdown. And COVID-19 variant cases susqueamed. And here's a look at some more information here. And if you want to see this information again, we will share it with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page right after the broadcast. Missing Londonderry woman found alive, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Qué buena casa de verbo. Vamos.
Breaking news coming in right now on a silver alert in Londonderry. The missing woman we told you about the top of this newscast has been found. Police tell News 9 that Wanda Youngren was located just a few minutes ago on Quarry Road. She is alive. An ambulance is on the way to evaluate her condition. Once again, she has been found.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Portion of 2 roads closed in Wilton because of flooding after Beaver Dam gives way. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Wilton, repairs were underway on Henry's Way after a section of the road was washed out Sunday afternoon.
Got a phone call from a friend of mine. He said the brook is high. It's going to flood your driveway. So it can't be. There's no rain.
But upriver, there was a beaver dam, and Sunday afternoon it gave way, sending acres of water downstream. Neighbors say the dam has been there forever, and they never gave it a second thought.
I've wandered back there on the ponds in the winter and the summer. Never concerned, but this is definitely a concern today.
Just down the road from Henry's Way, the water also washed out a section of Mason Road.
It looked like the Sauhegan River crossing the road right here on a bad day.
Brian Adams says it took about 4 hours for the water to recede. When crews got a chance to look at the damage,
It's pretty much undermined the road. We've lost the low side, probably about 6 to 8 feet on this low side's gone.
the goal is to get both roads passable, at least for emergency vehicles. One neighbor on Henry's Way says she's encouraged by what she's seen today.
They're really moving pretty quickly, so I'm pretty happy about that.
And while she doesn't have any way to get her car out, she's not worried.
Plenty of things. If I have a generator, I'm all set up. This is New England. I'm good for 6 months.
As you take a live look at the scene once again, what's still unclear is how much this will end up costing. But again, the town is hoping to get at least one lane open on Mason's Road and one lane also open on Henry's Way by the end of the day. Reporting live in Wilton, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
All right.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sacramento Police Chief announces arrest in connection with mass shooting. Let's take a listen to that video from KCRA News.
That breaking news in Sacramento. Police have just confirmed they have made one arrest in yesterday's mass shooting. They also tell us they served search warrants at 3 homes in the Sacramento region. Sacramento's police chief Kathy Lester says investigators have been working around the clock since the shooting happened about 2 a.m. yesterday morning, and they continue to look for answers right now. So here's what the chief told us about the arrest just minutes ago in an exclusive interview with KCRA 3's Ty Steele.
We do have one person in custody. He's 26-year-old DeAndre Martin, and he was arrested in connection to the K Street shooting. He was taken into custody on assault with a firearm and being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm. Right now, that's really all we're able to share about him. As you know, this is a complex investigation, and we're looking for multiple suspects, and so we're currently working to identify what his role was the night of the shooting.
18 people were shot yesterday. 6 of them died. Police have been pleading with people to share their videos and other evidence that could lead to the killers. And we do know that the evidence markers are still out there. It looks like they have. Just moments ago, Chief Lester also gave us new details about the investigation so far and some of what detectives have uncovered at the scene.
It is really important to me that we do this right and get justice for those families. We also have some additional information that we discovered from the scene that I can share. So we now know that at least 3 buildings were hit and 3 cars were also hit by gunfire, and we've recovered well over 100 casings from the scene. So we know that there were a lot of shots fired that night, and hence the complexity of the investigation. I just wanted to share that with the public.
3 men and 3 women were killed in that mass shooting, and we now know the names of all 6 people that died. KCRA3's Teo Torres joins us live in studio with the details from the Sacramento County Coroner's Office. Teo?
Well, Lisa, those who were killed ranged in age from 21 to 57, all of them from Sacramento. Here is the list. They include 21-year-old Jontaya Alexander, 57-year-old Melinda Davis, 38-year-old Sergio Harris, 32-year-old Joshua Hoy Lucchesi, 21-year-old 21-year-old Yamile Martinez Andrade, and 29-year-old Devazia Turner. 12 other people were shot and taken to the hospital. We know at least 4 were taken to UC Davis Med Center. 2 people, we understand, have been discharged. The conditions of the remaining people in the hospital has not been released. 5 people were taken to Sutter Medical Center. They have also been discharged. Well, families affected by the shooting can receive support information at Family Assistance Center at Cal Expo. You are asked to use the D-Lot entrance from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The center will be staffed by victim witness advocates, the American Red Cross Emotional Support Team, and Crisis and Trauma Chaplaincy. Lisa, back to you.
All right, Teo, thank you so much. And former Sacramento Police Chief Daniel Hahn joined us in studio this morning to share his insight on how the city can move forward as many are grieving and in shock.
Our country has been through a lot, and Sacramento is no exception, from protests to COVID to businesses shutting down, and downtown has been hit hard. Our neighborhoods have been hit hard. And you never want to see a mass shooting like this. But we also see shootings every day in our neighborhoods, and so we need to make sure we concentrate on that too. But, you know, as somebody that has had a younger brother murdered in this city and had to call my mom and tell her youngest son, I feel for the families that are going through this, and anybody coming downtown is surely probably thinking about whether they're safe or not. So all those things have to be taken into consideration. You will see more people downtown, more officers, more community groups downtown, I'm sure, but that's not sustainable because you're taking that from other neighborhoods. So we also have to look at the long term and how do we create an environment in our city with poverty and some of those other things that are challenging our neighborhoods so people don't resolve their differences with over 70 rounds fired in a crowded area.
Police continue to ask for your help in this investigation. We want to show you this QR code from the police. Again, if you scan it, this will take you to a link. They are asking if you have any video, maybe any other evidence that you might think is helpful in this investigation. Just scan that QR code and you can send that evidence to police. We will continue to bring you the very latest on this developing story. Just go to kcra.com, or you can download the KCRA 3 app for more up-to-date information. If we are not on the air here, be sure to enable the push alerts to receive breaking news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye, everyone.